Tranquilo.
We'll sedate him for a CT scan to see if that will tell us more.
Hi. Yesterday I uploaded a heartbreaking video on Bruno. Bruno, a dog rescued 2 years ago from a horrific condition and that has been living with us ever since. He couldn't find a family, so he stayed at our beautiful shelter. It all started 2 weeks ago. He started making some funny movements with the head, so we took him to the vet immediately. Our local vet, the vet that handles vaccinations, situations like this. Dogs don't always have critical injuries. They have small little things, small bruises, cuts. He was playing and they injured themselves, so you give him an anti-inflammatory, small little things. So about 2 weeks ago, he started feeling funny, so we took him there. We looked inside the ear canal. The first thing we looked is if there was a foreign body. We looked inside, there was nothing. And well, after doing some tests, they say that most probably he had vestibular syndrome. We gave him some medication, and in a couple of weeks, bring him back to the clinic, and then we'll see what happens. So during these days, while you wait for the medication to act, instead of feeling better, very quickly started feeling worse. So what we did is we took him back to the clinic. This is what's happening, and they say, no, this is not vestibular syndrome, this is something else, take him to the hospital. So the story is very clear, and come on, you know me, we rescue animals. Well, on yesterday's video, suddenly there started appearing comments out of nowhere, but lots of them. Oh, I can't believe it. You waited for 2 weeks until this dog was in such a condition. Who are you? Viktor, you don't take your dogs to the vet. I mean, come on. No, I always want to make something very clear. Those people that make these kind of comments, those comments say much more about them than about us. There is no rescue group in the world that has the level of control and supervision about our animals that this group has. So when somebody leaves these kind of comments, usually from a basement, I'm sorry, but those comments say much more about them than about us. Bruno has been supervised from the moment he arrived to our home 2.5 years ago until today. Yesterday we told you the story, we showed you the situation, and now we're going to show you what we've done after that. Today we performed a CT scan. Have a look at this. This is Bruno.
Does he walk in circles?
No, not really. He tends to move sideways. And sometimes his front paws even cross over each other. He's been like this since Thursday.
Did it happen suddenly?
Yes, it did.
Does he live with you?
Yes, he lives with us at the Great House. We rescued him a couple of years ago. About 1.5 years to be precise. And we noticed this morning that his left eye is more prominent than the right one. Does it look like it's further out of its socket?
Could he have suffered a blow or anything like that?
He could have bumped into something, I suppose, although it seems somewhat strange. They examined his ears on Thursday and prescribed Serenia, thinking it might be vestibular syndrome. They chose not to sedate him for fear it might be harmful.
I think this eye is slightly more recessed than the other. At least that's what I think. Was he eating well?
Everything was normal, but now he's starting to have difficulty eating.
Do you think eating could cause him pain?
It could be. He's always been very food-oriented.
Es bueno, ¿eh?
How old is he approximately?
We'd need to check his passport. One moment, I have it here just in case.
Espérate, lo he cogido por si acaso. Bruno.
He's a mix. Looks like German Shepherd with something else, right?
Oh, no sé, sí, sí,
Mastiff.
lo tenían ahí en una
He was
fábrica
used as a guard dog
de
at a
guardián.
factory.
Durante 7 años ha estado
For 7
protegiendo la
years, he
fábrica.
protected the factory until one day
Hasta que
he
un día
decided to come
decidió
with
venirse
us.
con nosotros él solo, ¿eh?
Sí, mira.
Sí. Pasábamos por ahí y dijo, uy, hola.
His birth year is
Según
estimated as
fecha de nacimiento,
2014.
2014. Sí. ¿Qué es
What is
síndrome
vestibular syndrome?
Ana?
When they tilt their head to one side, they sometimes lose balance, walk in circles, fall to that side, or have a squint.
Helado, a veces tienen estrabismo, movimientos.
Pero eso es
But
la
that's a consequence, right?
Pero en
What
realidad,
causes
¿qué
it?
es físicamente?
Sometimes it's a neurological syndrome caused by different problems, usually in the inner ear.
Ese no se anda ahí, ¿no?
Es muy de tumbarse, entonces ahora pues se tumba y se retuerce más. Sí.
It can also be idiopathic. Older dogs sometimes develop idiopathic vestibular syndrome of unknown cause. It often resolves on its own in 2 or 3 weeks. It's common in German Shepherds and other large breeds. We need to run some tests to see how he's doing, and a CT scan since the ear is clean, but we can't see beyond the eardrum.
Sí.
Pero del tímpano para adentro
No sé.
no lo vemos.
It could be middle ear inflammation or something in the cerebellum or brain. We need to rule out a tumor. If nothing abnormal is detected, it's most likely vestibular syndrome. If it's idiopathic, it resolves on its own in 2 to 3 weeks with treatment. Otherwise, if there's a tumor or another cause, then the treatment would vary. We're going to draw some blood to see how he's doing. Everything seems perfect. Having low alkaline phosphatase doesn't indicate an illness. There is no organic, biochemical, or metabolic reason for what's happening to him. We have to investigate whether his anatomy is affected.
We'll sedate him for a
Vamos
CT
sedarlo
scan to see if that will tell
vamos
us
a
more.
hacerle TAC. Y vamos a ver qué es lo que no se ve aquí.
Es que está fent força.
La única que no pasa es Ana, que va en el cabestillo.
¿Has visto esos saquitos que mi hermano usa? Se me los ha sacado, pero...
It doesn't seem to be from the middle ear.
Ponerle contraste, a ver si vemos algo.
We'll apply contrast to see if we detect anything in the brain.
Pero hay que
Without contrast, we can't see a mass.
contraste sí que ves.
It appears to be vestibular syndrome.
Lo que a ver, y a veces hasta la columna tampoco.
The result will be sent for assessment.
Tampoco se ve
We can't see signs of a tumor.
contraste. Así raro. Que lo valore el radiólogo a ver si puede ser algo asimétrico.
Sí, lo
The radiologist will evaluate it.
Sobre todo por si
It's difficult to assess that eye, given that he's tilting his head to the other side.
Tuviera un poquito tensión y todos los ojos normales.
The CT has not revealed a mass.
Ninguna más, ¿no?
A ver, si ya estás despierto.
You're awake now, huh? Very well. Don't worry. We're going
No te
home.
preocupes que nos vamos para casa.
Take it easy.
Bruno had a CT scan and the results are inconclusive. There's clearly something there, but we don't know what it is. So we don't know yet. Now he's going to need a magnetic resonance, an MR. And the fact is that we don't have one at our hospital. So we're going to have to take him to another hospital to do the MR. Now, before people jump at me and say, Viktor, how come you don't have an MR? The fact is that very few hospitals in this country have an MR. It's a huge machine. It takes a whole room and it costs millions of dollars. So we don't have one, but we're going to take him to a hospital where he's going to have one done. Now, Bruno is back at the Grey House, he's resting, and in a couple of days, he will go to the hospital and he will have an MR and we will know exactly what the problem is. I assure you we're doing everything we can to know, to understand, to help him. And when somebody leaves a nasty comment, it doesn't help anybody. Maybe they feel satisfied that they have released their inner anger and nastiness, but it has nothing to do with our work, I assure you. Anyway, if you feel connected to Bruno, if you want to help him, please donate. Help us find out what the problem is. Help us treat him and help us save his life. Thank you very much. More very soon. Take care.